Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Wayne Coulson, CEO of Coulson Flying Tankers, the guy in charge of the monstrous, marvelous Martin Mars water bomber. Welcome to the show, Wayne.
Yes, good morning, Jim.
I think it was great news the BC government finally decided that one of the best pieces of firefighting equipment in the world would finally be put to work in BC. Can you tell us, where did the Mars go to work first?
Well, we actually, of course, the day it went on contract, Jim, we had rain in the valley there where it's located on Spout Lake. So the rain brought the smoke down, and we got smoked in for the last couple of days. We did get it opened up on Monday morning, and we went out and did some practicing with the BC Forest Service out in Lake Couch, and since then we've been stood down waiting for orders of what they want to do with us.
Where does it work best?
Initial attack. That's what it's been. It's the mainstay of the airplane for the last 5+ decades. Typically, when they get a fire, they dispatch the Mars, and because it drops 4 acres of water, usually if you catch the fire within the first hour, it's going to be one drop, and then you'll be mopping up with the firefighters.
And of course, with the drought and heat wave in BC, we were getting up to 30 fires a day. It's quieted down, but by the weekend, we're going to be back into plus 30 temperatures again, and I would imagine the Mars is going to be busy.
Yeah, we hope not, but if need be, the airplane will be available, and there's a good chance they will dispatch the aircraft to certainly the closest fire will get the call.
If the Mars hadn't been put to work in BC, was it going to head off elsewhere?
No, we have a contract with the Chinese government to train some test pilots on the Mars, and that's why it was so quickly to be back in service again. We have a delegation coming in to do some training on the airplane, and so it was all set and ready to go.
Maybe explain to people why the Mars is so good at fighting fires. Is it the quick turnaround because it's a scooper?
Yeah, that's one of the advantages. Certainly the capacity at 7,200 gallons, which is, the second largest aircraft in the world. And, we drop water out of its belly at 2,000 gallons a second for 3.5 seconds. If you compare that to, smaller air tankers at 400 gallons a second, that gives people a pretty good idea of why the impact is so great.
Well, I was wondering, those small pontoon water bombers, with the small load they drop and the fires being so hot, didn't that water evaporate sometimes before it even reached the ground?
It does, and that's a very good point, and certainly when the relative humidity is very low, that's a problem with the smaller aircraft, is the evaporation factor is very significant. So, in fact, the load doesn't actually get to the fire.
What is the future of the Mars bomber? I mean, I look at those beautiful giant piston engines it has. I mean, 10,000 horsepower, flying horsepower out there. But in the future, could they be replaced by turbofans, for example?
Well, we could, and not only the companies before us looked at it, and we looked at it, and really what it comes down to is the customer, a customer commitment. What kind of airplane do they see it fitting? Do they want to upgrade the aircraft to more horsepower? Certainly, the airplane would welcome that. It would performance, of course, would be that much better in hot and high. But that's just more a question of what is the customer really wanting to, seeing the impact of the aircraft and wanting to continue to use it.
Is the future of the Mars shaky in BC? It wasn't used the last few years.
Yeah, it sat out. Last year was its first year it sat out. It is. We're not sure exactly what the government would like to do. We're hoping we've started a new beginning with the airplane, and I think what's happened is, because it hasn't been used a lot, people, the next generation of firefighters really haven't seen it. The next generation of fire management haven't seen it. So back in the old days, in the 80s and 90s and early 2000, when it's been on those fires in Kelowna, and they had the twin airplanes, it saved many parts of the community, and that still resonates with people.
Do you think modern firefighters just don't appreciate what it's like when you can cover 4 acres or I think it's, 1.6 hectares all at once?
Yeah, I just don't know that people have seen it. You know, and it's been a bit of a myth. You know, when we took it down to Southern California in 2007, 8, and 9, and worked down there, it was a phenomenon because it was, at that time, we were the largest air tanker in the world.
Now, there is a 747 air tanker now that can drop 77,000 liters, but again, an aircraft that size has to use a major airport, and usually major airports aren't near where the fires are.
Yeah, the 747, we know very well, and they didn't actually get that program off the ground, and they did a few drops, but they never got any work with it. The airplane that is working, that is bigger than the Mars, is the DC-10, and they drop roughly 11,000 gallons. So the Mars still retains the number 2 spot. However, on a volume per hour, where the Mars is doing 5-6 drops an hour, we're up to 42,000 to 50,000 gallons an hour versus the larger air tankers that may get 1 drop in every hour if everything going very, very well.
We'll have more with Wayne Coulson right after this.
More and more people are looking to the internet for intelligent, riveting, and thought-provoking interviews. To advertise on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com, call 604-699-8600, 604-699-8600.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Wayne Coulson, CEO of Coulson Flying Tankers. Now, Wayne, the Mars water bomber isn't your only aircraft. What else do you have out there fighting fires in BC and Western Canada?
Well, actually, we have a new C-130 Hercules. It's been on contract since 2013 with the U.S. Forest Service, and we recently had it down in Australia this past winter. Our second C-130 is now built and on standby, and we'll pick up a contract with Australia with it. So we're going to have 2 C-130s in Australia this winter and then back home. We also operate heavy lift helicopters, S-61s. So we have one on with the province right now, and one's looking to go on with the Alberta government.
Now, if global warming continues, do you see the need for these giant tankers to continue and, in fact, become more important? I
think so. I mean, every fire season seems to be more and more extreme. We're seeing certainly the drought in California, where the fire is moving much quicker than it did, in past years because of the drought. So definitely, and we're also working with folks in other countries on our tanking system, as in many countries that operate C-130s looking to put a tanking system similar to ours on their C-130 fleet.
And the C-130 Hercules, I mean, it is a short landing and takeoff aircraft, so it's not a scooper, but it can go into smaller airports.
It is. It's a very versatile aircraft, and because it goes low and slow, it's a very effective, and we've got a 4,000-gallon tank in it. And that's the largest tanking system in a turboprop aircraft, and we're really pleased with the results. As brought lots of new technology into the business in the air tanker world, and so we're really pleased with the results.
Is that new technology in the Mars water bomber, which is a circa World War II aircraft?
Yeah, we spent about $3 million into the Mars, primarily into the cockpit, and we wanted synthetic vision, so the pilots can see in the smoke, and that's the danger part for an aircraft that size, where if you get in these valleys and they can't see the synthetic vision, they can actually, steer the plane out of harm's way if need be. So that was a must for us in the Mars.
I know a lot of pilots like a challenge. I don't think anything could be more challenging than to fly the Mars, because that thing doesn't have hydraulic steering, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's all manual. It's got one little hydraulic pack in the tail. But, it's just a fantastic airplane. I mean, you can walk inside the wing. It's the only airplane you can do that. You can walk up into the tail of the airplane. It was an engineering marvel in its day.
Yes, they had the flying, the Spruce Goose that Howard Hughes made, but if you wanted a thing that really did fly. In fact, the history of the Mars, they wanted a patrol torpedo bomber that could basically fly to Tokyo from Hawaii and back, didn't they?
Yeah, it started out as a bomber, and what they decided to do was, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, they converted the aircraft into airlift to move parts and people, and it was the biggest medevac aircraft in the world in that day. It was they would carry 123 souls on board.
So it's been saving lives since World War II.
It has, yes, and right up into the Vietnam War. We moved the injured soldiers into Hawaii, and then it would lift everybody home back to the mainland here, into San Francisco, Alameda.
It's an airplane with great history. Have they done decent film documentaries on it?
We've done in 2011, Mighty Planes came in from Discovery Channel and did a wonderful documentary on the aircraft as a firefighter. Although there hasn't been a lot of attention given to its past history, certainly it's attracting attention now.
And as you said, if fire continues to be one of the severe dangers it is, as long as the airplane remains healthy, it's going to be good for our environment.
Yeah, and I think the perception is because it is a 70-year-old plus airplane, we can't change that. However, what we can say is that in Canada, it's either safe or unsafe. We have a Transport Canada. This aircraft has been maintained to the same standards as a Airbus operating or a Boeing product operated by Air Canada. So the maintenance on the airplane has been incredible over the years.
Wayne, best of luck to you and your crews. You've been doing a terrific job through the decades, and I'm sure you might have decades more to do with this monstrous plane.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page everybody can follow, so that would be good. We're getting, I think we've got a couple thousand people following us now, but we keep that up to date every couple hours of what the airplane's doing. You're right up on that airplane. I'm impressed, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
My guest has been Wayne Coulson, CEO of Coulson Flying Tankers. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. You can find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Check out our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Comments about the show can be sent to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.